Hello and welcome to this product demonstration of the Heavy Duty Wheel Alignment Tool. Today I'm going to show you how to assemble this thing, how to use it, and how the tool works in practice, not just theory. Along the way, I'll highlight some important safety concerns that you really need to think about while using the tool. In the end, I hope that I will leave you with a greater understanding of the strengths and limitations so that you can make an informed decision. In this demonstration, I will not be using an actual vehicle today, but I will cover the installation, safety notes, and proper alignment concepts. With that in mind, let's get right to it. One thing I noticed right off the bat was the complete absence of any instructions. While the assembly process here can be pretty intuitive, there's not a whole lot of parts, the use and application of this tool to the alignment process is really not. Let's take a look at the components here. As you can see, there's not a whole lot to it. There's two frame rails, left and right, one of which I've already assembled. There's some frame rail levels, which I'll show you how they're used later in this demonstration. There's also a couple of tape measures, and of course the screws and a nifty Allen wrench if you just happen not to have Allen wrench tools. And if you have no Allen wrench tools, I'd be questioning why you're even trying to do an alignment. So you probably have some better tools than this, as I have right here. Let's take a look at these. These components here, this is made of 2mm thick steel plates. This stuff is stout. You want this to be firm. You want it to be not bending, not giving, because the alignment process is based on straight lines and precision. You don't want these flexing at all. These will not flex. These are also pretty compact. You can see how these kind of compact into a fairly small space. Got about 15 inches by 8. Yeah, you can put this in one of your storage drawers up, by the back of the storage drawer, if this is the back. Boom. And there's not much room at all taken by this. So if you're at a premium with your storage, it's good to know that this really doesn't take that much storage. I do recommend that if you are storing it, once you disassemble it, put all these screws back in this bag. Get a piece of packing tape and tape it on one of these frame rails so you don't lose all those pieces, especially the super valuable Allen wrench that's included. With that, let's go over some safety concerns, safety notes. When I did this demonstration, one of the things I noticed right away was some photos that depicted vehicles being supported on these alignment rails. These alignment rails are not designed for and are not rated for thousands of pounds. These are a precision alignment tool. Those photos were probably put together by someone or something that had a complete misunderstanding of what this tool was and what it was for and what it was not. So please, folks, do not try to support your vehicle on this tool. Even if you could, even if this would support it, you'd have so much weight bearing down, it would render this tool useless because this tool needs to be rotating freely. If you got 1,000 pounds on this thing on concrete, that tool's not moving anywhere. So please do not support your vehicle on these. They're not made for that. They won't support it. This will wind up causing damage and possibly bodily injury if you try that, so please don't do it. The next thing is another safety tip. You probably already know this, but just in case, always use jack stands to support your vehicle when using this tool. Never use the jack to support your vehicle. Use the jack to lift it, and then support your vehicle using jack stands under the load points or the jack points. You can find those in your vehicle's documentation. All right. The last point is some of these edges are a little bit sharp, so take care when handling these. Mine aren't too bad, but there's a couple of edges that are kind of sharp. So if you want, put on a pair of gloves just to be sure. All right. One important note about the actual alignment, the quality of your alignment, the outcome, and how accurate that and good that is depends on many factors. One of the most crucial being the condition of your suspension and steering components, such as tie rod ends. So these procedures and tips that I'm going to go over assume undamaged front end suspension and steering components, that they're in good working order. I would suggest for any components that you have that are worn or damaged to replace those or repair them prior to the alignment to get the best results. Okay, the first thing you need to do before putting these together is to check for squareness. As you know, even though these are steel, there's a lot of things damaged in shipping. You want to make sure that these are perfectly square, because any type of deformation, anything slightly bent, will cause your alignment to be off and your car not to drive properly. The way to do this, to check these for square, is to line these parts up back to back, make sure that there's no gap in between, and when you press like that you don't get rocking back and forth. Do that with the main component there, and with these as well, and keep pressing on these, and if you don't get any movement and there's no gaps, you're good to go. These are pretty stout metal pieces, so I don't imagine too many of you are going to find these warped or damaged. All right, so let's put these alignment rails together. Again, one's already pre-assembled. I've got that done. We're going to get this one put together right now. So let's get to it. Gotta make sure the holes are aligned. There's one. Two. Three. There we go. Feel free to use a Allen wrench if you need to get these a little bit tighter. One quick point to note about these pieces. Excuse me. These screws are fairly small. I would advise against using power tools to avoid stripping, over tightening, or cross threading. As you know, any one of those can turn an easy job into a nightmare. So put these together using hand tools only. There's not a whole lot of parts, so it's fairly quick. All right, we have these built now. Let's get these in position. There we go. So the next thing you want to do is attach these rails to your hub assemblies. Okay, so this is with your tires off, and you can see the wheel studs. Now let's, for demonstration purposes, just imagine that these are your wheel studs. I do want to point out the oval shape here. These are like this in order to accommodate different size wheel hubs for different sized cars, starting from small compact cars to larger SUVs. This can fit a wide range of those. And when you do put it on, make sure that it's put on so that your studs are equal distance from the edges of this, right? You don't want to put it on like this. You don't want to put it on like that. Put it on right in the middle. If these are far apart, make sure they're equal distance, and so it looks the same. You want to do that on both sides so that this and this, both frame rails, are aligned with each other. The other thing that you should know is, as your wheel hubs, as you know, rotate. That's how your tire spins. And when you stop your car and you jack it up, you may not have your wheel studs like that. They may be halfway around the circle. So when you put this on, right, it's going to be like this. It's going to be oh, just lost my wheel studs. It's going to be at an angle, right? So my point is that your vehicle, you have to be able to rotate your wheel hubs, right? So that this is level with basically this is level with respect to this one, okay? So what you might have to do is put your car in neutral, and how you do that is going to be different from car to car. So once again, consult your vehicle's documentation or the manufacturer specifications for how to safely put your car in neutral when it's going to be on jack stands. You don't want to start it up. You just want to get that thing in neutral so you can take those hubs and spin them or align this so that it's level with respect to this. So how do you do that? Because your car is going to be jacked up. It's going to be at a slight angle. This is going to be about like this, right? Because your car's jacked up, but you want it like this. So you want those wheel hubs to rotate so you can get it level. And the way you're going to level that is to use one of these rail alignment tools, okay? So you're looking at it head on here, but the way this would really be how you're going to look from a top down. You're going to look like that, right? You're going to see that alignment. Let me move this in here into view. See that? So what you're going to want to do is rotate that hub a little bit until that bubble is right in the center. Then once you have that, and your studs are, like I said, they're kind of equal distance from here, you tighten down those lug nuts, okay? You don't have to get it super tight, just tight enough to where this is firmly against the hub and firmly secure. You want to make sure that bubble's in the middle for the left and the right alignment rails. Okay, so that's what these are for. That's why you need your hubs to rotate. And so forth. Okay, once you have that done, the next step is to go ahead and extend your tape measures out between the two. So let me space these out a little bit further to show you. So we'll extend this out. It's a little bit more difficult with a car with the wheels all the way over, but you can. So you'll have to hook this one. There's a little hook you can see right there. It just easily hooks right on there. It's really nice, really easy. So once you get that done, you take it over to the other side of the car, right? You go ahead and put that in this. You might have to get a little practice doing that, but once that's in, you just let this tape measure retract back and let it set naturally right on this rail. And you do the same thing for the other side. Extend that out, hook that on. You might have to, put this. You might need two people for this. But what you can do is extend this out, far enough to where it gets on the other side of the car and lock this, right? You can lock it like that, walk on the other side of the car, and then actually hook, right, as you're on the other side of the car and this is locked. Here, let's put this out a little bit longer, like so. You can actually put this here and then grab this on the other side of the car, lock it down, walk on the other side, and then unlock and let this again retract to the rail and let it sit firmly on this rail right here. All right, awesome. Now we have this set up for our alignment. Now, for the alignment process itself, and again, this demonstration isn't to educate you on how the alignment is done. There's plenty of videos out there, but how this tool is used in order to perform the alignment. So when you do the alignment, you're going to be doing a toe. This is a toe in and toe out. So that means that your wheels, the front of the wheels, are toed in or toed out. And you can see as you do that, these tape measures here that are firmly sitting on this ledge retract and expand automatically. As you're making this adjustment, they will expand and retract. And hopefully they'll stay in place. So as they do that, you can take your measurements right just by looking down right here and notice what the measurement is in the front, measurement in the back. You can do the subtraction and do the math to figure out what your angle is for your alignment, or what the offset is between front and back, depending on how you've calculated. So definitely this process requires a little bit of knowledge on how to do the alignment, how it's done, not only mechanically, but alignment wise, and the angles of offsets and stuff like this. This tool is just to help you to do it. Definitely it's easy, a lot easier than the string method, which I've been using for years and I will never do again after receiving this tool. So again, the key here is the difference between the two measurements. That allows you to figure out what the alignment should be and any adjustments that you need to make. And again, the exact variance, the exact specifications for the alignment is going to be different from one vehicle to the next. So you will need to check the manufacturer alignment specifications in order to know how to align your particular vehicle. All right, let's get down to some usage tips. One of the things that this tool doesn't do is it doesn't ensure the wheel orientation is relative to the steering wheel, and those two are aligned. In other words, there's nothing that with this tool directly, this is my little steering wheel here, that prevents something like this. When you get in, you start driving straight and you realize my wheel is crooked. I've had that happen at least twice in my lifetime when having shops do the alignment. This is a common thing, and even the seasoned shops will do this, and you have to go back and wait all over. It's really a pain, and if you're doing it, it means you have to do the alignment all over again if you want your wheel aligned, your steering wheel aligned with your wheels. So here's some tips that you can apply to try to avoid that and try to wind up with an alignment of your steering wheel to the wheels. First of all, before you start, the steering wheel should be straight. So when you pull into your garage, make sure when you pull in, you're pulling in dead straight. That steering wheel is straight. Okay, you don't want to pull in with your wheels turned and then turn them back. There can be some residual forces on that wheel if you're just sitting there in your driveway or your garage and you just turn it and leave it. Okay, so the best thing is drive in with your wheels straight, stop, park the car, your wheel is straight, don't touch the wheel. Okay, so the next step is when you're doing this alignment, because when you pull in straight, okay, you're driving straight, the wheel's straight. If there's an alignment issue and you're adjusting it, make sure you align the left and right exactly the same amount, right? So if you're aligning this out 1/8 of an inch, push this one out 1/8 of an inch, right? So do the calculations so that you push this one out the same as this, because if you align this one out and you've got to align it and you just push this one out, I know this isn't straight, what's going to happen is when you pull out, start driving, your wheel's going to settle like that. It's going to be misaligned. So make sure you increment or decrement or expand and contract these the same amount so that your wheel alignment will be aligned with your steering wheel. Now, if you're replacing parts such as the tie rod end, right, what you want to do is, once again, when you pull in, same thing, pull in dead straight with the steering wheel straight. Steering wheel's got to be straight when you pull in, even if it's turning, if it's not aligned, make sure this is straight when you pull in. You're taking off your tie rod ends, right? So you take those out, make sure when you put them back on that you put each one on the same number of turns, both right and left. So that way, effectively, when you put them on, it'll start, the wheels would be far out like this or in back, depending on where your tie rods are located. But it'll close this in the same amount, so it'll be pretty straight. And then once you get done doing the installation and you start using this tool to make the final adjustments, once again, adjust the right and left by the same amount, and you'll wind up with a pretty good alignment of your steering wheel relative to the wheels. And that brings us to the end of this demonstration on the Heavy Duty Wheel Alignment Tool. Thanks for watching this video. Be safe, and most importantly, have fun and the best of success with your alignment.